going on? It's your boy Adam. I don't even know where the time goes. I did sleep in today. It's Sunday, Easter Sunday. I just. I don't even know what time I got up. It was late. Yesterday's bike and bakery thing tomorrow. It's just. I'm down to 2 days a week doing it. And I just blasted the guy who went on a fucking tirade in the comments section to the point where it got censored by YouTube and put in the special box where your comments go if they're really offensive. And like I said, there's a setting in there that I can automatically approve those, and I set that to yes. Just let them go. I don't care anymore. Because I don't want to. But then I because I've been getting a lot of comments over the last couple of weeks, and it was like, what was the word? I was like, I wonder what's in this special box. I wasn't expecting to see any, but when I opened it up, I was like, holy shit. There were a few good ones and a few spicy meatballs in that box of pasta. And so yeah, whatever. I just hit approve. They're live. I don't know what videos they're attached to. I didn't pay that much attention. I read them and I'm like, wow. And I told you about, I wish I could find it so I could read it word for word. The guy angry about me not wanting to be a truck driver. And, but then there's other comments, people leaving their expert advice about everything I do wrong and everything I'm supposed to do or not supposed to do or whatever. And it's like, I have the perfect analogy for this. And it's like, here's the thing. A lot of people leave advice or thoughts or opinions on things, and they're not trolls. I would not categorize you as trolls. You've been watching the channel for a long time. You're just putting your 2 cents in. We can agree to disagree or whatever, but I don't have any beef with anybody who just wants to give their 2 cents or advice. Somebody was leaving me saying, you need to do all your work and don't worry about your chores. When you live I don't know what you do for a living, but when you work from home and you need to focus on mental clarity and do things that are, you can't play soccer with a broken leg. They won't even let you out on the field. If you have a broken mind, you can't sit down in front of a computer and do mental gymnastics. So, if you live in fucking squalor and you're surrounded by dirty dishes and filth and all kinds of things that are falling apart, you're not going to get very far when you sit down to concentrate on shit that your mind needs to concentrate on. So, no, I'm going to disagree with that. Doing chores is something you have to get done. The more you let that shit fall apart, the more you're not going to be able to do your work. It's like you can't, it's like working, it's like, oh, don't bother washing dishes at the restaurant. Just let them pile up. Who fucking cares? You just need to get the food on the table. That's the same shit. But anyway, there are trolls and there are commenters that I will disagree with from time to time, but I won't call them trolls. Because, if you got good intentions, if we don't agree, that's fine. I don't put you in the same category as a troll. Trolls are just people who are there to be a dick because they got nothing better to do. And so I was watching, I always talk about this guy, Prepper Nurse 1, the homesteader. I was doing other things, and when I hit the YouTube homepage to look for something to watch while I was doing something else, it showed that he was doing a live stream. I clicked on it. It was halfway through the stream. I missed, the first part of it. But not too long after I was watching, some troll in the live chat was threatening this guy. Like, trying to dox him with his, like, trying to give out his exact location. He's got a homestead somewhere in West Virginia. It's near Beckley. I know generally the area because he's said a few things, and I know that area of West Virginia pretty well. So I can, and there's some other clues and whatever. I can pinpoint. I don't know exactly where he lives or where his homestead is, but I know the general area. If I had the address, I could find it, and I wouldn't even be surprised if I've driven right past it before in my travels. But regardless, there was this dude in the chat who was like literally threatening to go to his house and attack him or some shit like that. Like, I'll come down there and I'll show you what the fuck's up. And the dude's like, all right, we'll be waiting for you. You are going to West Virginia to threaten somebody who's a prepper on the prepper's private property, and you're threatening this guy with violence. I hope that you're aware that people who live in West Virginia on a large tract of private land who are living off grid and have, 6,000 pounds of beans and rice to ride out the apocalypse are going to be pretty well fucking armed. And the dude's got a pack of German Shepherds that he's raising. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a great fucking idea to show up at this guy's property. And he's a cool dude. He's a nice guy. Trolls come out of the woodwork to attack this guy every time he does a fucking video. Every time he does a live stream, they got to kick somebody off the feed, off of the chat. Every time he posts the video, people are shitting on him and calling him and threatening him and everything else. And it's like, wow, dude, I'm an asshole. So, like, I'm a magnet for that shit. Like, at least I'm an asshole. At least I give people a reason to be a troll. To me, I went to prison for being an internet troll for 2 years. Well, I didn't go for the whole 2 years, but I spent 20 months behind bars for being an internet troll. So to say that I've never been a troll or that I wouldn't do something like that, there's plenty of court records and evidence that proves the contrary. So if I can't take it, I've dished out enough internet trolldom that I should be able to take it. And so I don't give a fuck. Like, the guy who told me to go fuck myself because I don't want to be a truck driver, fine, go fuck yourself. We've already had that conversation, but I'm just like, I was thinking about it, and I'm, like I said, I don't lose sleep over it. I'm just thinking of content to talk about for the channel and to you guys. And the whole point I'm getting at is, don't let the fucking trolls, don't let the haters stop you from doing what you're going to do. That's the point. I've been getting shit on and hate on my whole life since I was a little kid. Little kids are vicious to each other. I grew up in with a vicious circle of friends. My best friends when I was growing up, we were all horrible to each other, vicious little dicks to each other. So if you wonder where it came from, I had to learn to be a complete fucking asshole just to get along with my friends growing up. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to keep up with it. We were all relentlessly ruthless towards each other. And I guess that's just how guys are growing up, It's like, you can tell if guys are a bunch of best friends because of how badly they insult and ridicule each other. It's almost like it's counterintuitive, but that, guys that are like totally ripping on each other are probably good friends. At least when you're young. You chill out on that shit over the years, but my best friend down here in Houston, we got stories. I've done a lot of things to him that you would think you would only do that to your enemy, and it's only because we were really good friends, and vice versa. He's done some things, and, we've got stories, and there's been a lot of go fuck yourselves going back and forth, but we're still good friends. And that, that goes back all the way to high school, okay? So, college, after college, There's stories upon stories, and you know, we're past that. Like, I don't have any desire to do anything to, insult or piss him off or anything. Like, I'm 49 years old. I'm bad. I'm out of that mindset. But wasn't that long ago, I got a good one that he did that kind of got under my skin a little bit, but I was like, yeah, I probably had that coming for this other one that I did. So, I didn't really like I kind of like told him he was a fucking asshole, but I still had a smirk on my face. So he knew that I was like, we're cool. I just didn't appreciate that one. I'll just leave it at that. But I figured it was just payback for some prank I pulled on him. So we're even. We're totally, he's done so much to help me. I ain't got no beef at all there. So, but you guys dish that shit out back and forth, especially in your 20s, into your 30s even. It depends on how good of friends you are. But you learn to be vicious, ruthless, verbally, when you grow up like that. And so, yeah, I turned into an internet troll, and I went to prison for it. And so, yeah, I can take it. I'm an asshole, so I'm a magnet for the internet trolls. Like, they're gonna show up and be like, this fucking guy is an asshole. So the trolls are like, that's like shit for a bunch of flies, man. They're just gonna flock to it and buzz all over it and be like, all through the comment section. But this guy, the prepper nurse one, he's polite, he's informative, he seems like a cool dude who he probably talks like me when he's off the camera. He's probably got a different, if you're just talking one-on-one, you're probably going to have a conversation that sounds a lot more like my channel than what his channel sounds like, because he wants to keep his thing family friendly. And that's fine. You do you. You be you. That's fine. He doesn't want to be seen by the world as a douchebag. Me, I'm like, my reputation's done. I can say whatever the fuck I want at this point. Like, I can't make it any worse. So why not? Just be you. But the point is, this guy gets bombarded with... He's got a bunch of fans. He's got a lot of people that watch his channel. I think there were there were hundreds of people watching the stream. He did the whole, I'm going to ask you to give me the thumbs up. When he said that, there were 70 thumbs up. After he asked the people to give him the thumbs up to support the channel, it went up to 150 in a matter of a minute or two. And so that was another reminder to me that I've got to start being a little bit more structured with the way I do things. And after I get past this current slump that I'm going through, this fucked up situation that I'm in, I'll have structure to my life which I can pass on to other things. Like, my chores are piled up right now. Somebody left me a comment saying, don't worry about your chores, just do your work. This motherfucker don't live in a tiny house surrounded by squalor, not being able to take a hot shower for 3 fucking months. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going through the same thing. I don't know. But I'm just, trying to put myself in... I'm not the only one going through some shit, is what I'm saying. I know other people watch this channel. They got all kinds of crazy shit going on that's crazier than the shit I'm going through. But the shit I'm going through is pretty fucking crazy, or people wouldn't even watch the channel. So the fact that the people show up and watch these videos proves that the situation's fucked up. I wouldn't have been able to get an audience before this all happened because, my life wasn't all... People love to watch a train wreck, and here they are watching it. So, it's the same reason why there's traffic jams on the opposite side of the interstate when there's an accident on the northbound lanes. The southbound lanes get all clogged up and a massive traffic jam, even though there's no reason to stop other than to look at the accident as you drive by really slow, and then everybody else behind you has to slam on their brakes, and before you know it, there's a 5 mile long traffic jam because all the people at the front of the line need to stop and look at the train wreck on the other side of the road. So when your life, I'm gonna say, if your life is a total fucking train wreck and you've got all kinds of problems and bullshit going on, put a YouTube channel together, because people will flock to that shit. People love watching people fall. People love watching people fall on their face. People go to auto races to watch the crashes more than they go to watch fast cars go around the track fast. They want to see people burn. They saw the videos of IndyCar, or not IndyCar, Formula One races back in the 60s where people were burned alive, and they've been showing up ever since hoping to see it again. And now they've made Formula One races more boring than watching a golf tournament. But that's why people are showing up to the track. They're not showing up to watch the race. They want to see someone burn. They want to see a crash. So that's what it is. Take advantage of it. Make some money off of it if you're a fucking train wreck like me. Turn it into an advantage somehow. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting week, I'll tell you that. I'm in a better mood. You're watching the videos today that I shot a few days back. So there's a delay. It's like talking to some astronaut on the moon, but even though it's all make-believe, where you say something but the astronaut doesn't hear you for 15 minutes and then they reply, and the reply takes 15 minutes to get back to Earth. Or it's probably not that much of a delay, but there's a delay. It's like when you watch live sports on TV, it's not truly live. If you were at the sporting event and you held your phone in your hand to watch the live stream, what you're seeing is probably 30 seconds to a minute or two ahead of what's on the live stream. So it's 2-minute delay between the live event taking place and when you actually see it on your TV. So except in my case, you're watching a video that I shot like 4 days ago, but in your mind you might think it's today, which is fine with me right now. They were more up to date when I was homeless. I was shooting a video every day and publishing it every day. I don't think I think maybe a couple of times I published one the next day, and then I would publish one on that day. But life, there was more, I had more time on my hands because I was just a homeless turd roaming the streets of Jamestown trying to figure some shit out. And I had time to go to the library and fuck around with that. And I was doing other things and, but I can tell you, as somebody who does both physical labor and mental labor, burnout affects your mental capacity to do mental things way worse than doing a physical job. I can go to that bakery and work all fucking day, and I'm not saying I enjoy it, but I don't hate it. But I can get, like, tomorrow morning, it's gonna suck balls when I wake up. I gotta pack all my shit, I gotta get ready, I gotta do all the stuff that's involved to get ready to go. And then I gotta go. And when I return, I'm going to work hard all day long, and the mental burnout that I'm going through right now will have no effect on my ability to do a physical job or ride my bicycle or any of that. In fact, sometimes the physical exhaustion helps with the mental stuff. Like, I can put it all aside and just do my job and come home like it's nothing. But when If I had a broken leg, I wouldn't be able to ride my bike. B, I wouldn't be able to go do that job. How am I going to hobble around a bakery on a broken leg and do that job? It would completely cripple my ability to go to that job if I broke my leg. I would not be able to do the job. And see, that's the thing. That's a thing. That is a definite stigma in society. That if you have nobody would question you broke your leg and you have a job. Say you work in a steel mill and you're on your feet all day, lugging bars of steel around or doing steel mill shit. You broke your leg and you can't go to work. Nobody would call you a pussy. Nobody would call you irresponsible. No one would get on your case about not getting up off your lazy ass and going to your fucking job and doing your fucking work. Nobody would question that at all. You got a broken leg, you work in a steel mill, you can't go back to work until your broken leg is healed. Nobody would question that. Nobody would give you shit for that. Nobody would call you lazy for that. And nobody would scream and yell at you to get off your lazy ass and go do your fucking job, you worthless piece of shit. But if your mind is broken and you do mental work that requires you to have a clear head, and you're having a problem getting your work done because your mind is all fucked up, and maybe your mind is all fucked up because you got some shitty ass slumlord who won't fix the hot water, won't let you take a fucking shower, and is threatening to throw you out in the fucking street at the end of the month, and threatening and telling you gotta pay even more rent than you were already paying, even though nothing in the apartment fucking works and you're living in squalor, and that's having an effect on your mental health. And so your job that requires you to sit and think and use your mind all day, well, if you have a broken mind, how are you supposed to do the job that requires you to be on your mind all day? If you break your leg, nobody's going to question your ability to do the job that you have to be on your feet all day for. And if you stay at home recovering, nobody's going to call you a lazy piece of shit. Nobody's going to tell you to get off your fucking ass. Suck it up, buttercup. You lazy fucking scumbag. Go to fucking work, you piece of shit. Go hobble around on your broken leg and work at the steel mill, you fucking lazy scumbag. But when you have a broken mind and you have to do mental tasks all day and you can't focus on it, you're a lazy piece of shit. Get off your fucking ass and do it. Shut the fuck up, asshole. Don't do your fucking chores because you need to get your work done first. Why the fuck are you sitting around complaining instead of doing your fucking job, you lazy scumbag? And all that shit. And that is the way that our society treats you if you're having a mental issue. You are a worthless piece of shit who doesn't deserve anything but to be called a worthless piece of shit. Fuck you, you lazy scumbag. Go eat a dick, you fucking worthless douchebag. It's the complete opposite when you have a mental breakdown. But if you have a physical breakdown, like, oh, I gotta go to get my cancer treatment next week. I gotta get my chemotherapy. I'm gonna be a little bit sick for a few days. Nobody's like, if you had to call in for work because you're in for chemo and you're gonna miss a couple of days of work, nobody's gonna like fire you because you're having chemotherapy. But let's say you got to go see the mental health psychologist and you need a mental break for a couple days. Fuck you, you lazy piece of shit. You don't want to come to fucking work? Fuck you, you're fired. Right? Nobody gives a fuck about somebody with mental health issues. If you have a mental health issue, everybody just treats you like you're a broken piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck away from me, you crazy cocksucker. I don't want anything to do with you. Fuck you. Go die. That's the attitude that people treat you with if you've got something wrong with your mind. If you got something wrong with your body, everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, it must be so horrible. I feel so bad for you. I'll be, and it's like, it's the total opposite. It's the total opposite. And, it's like, oh, mental health is not important. And look, I'm not saying that I'm completely broken. I'm not even going to see a fucking psychiatrist or a psychologist or any of that. Like, if the opportunity popped up to speak to the right person, sometimes I watch a good sermon. Sometimes, like, there's ways that I can deal with this mental shit. But I hope you understand, at least some of you do, who watch the channel, because you leave comments all the time. Going to prison for 2 years for some mean tweets when you're sharing a jail cell with someone who got 14 months for killing a person, and all you did was post mean shit on Twitter. You got 2 years in fucking prison for that, to come home to, being shit on by everybody you ever thought cared for you, who want nothing to fucking do with you ever again, followed by being kicked to the fucking curb to be homeless before you ever had a chance to get on your feet, followed by moving halfway across the country to get away from, because you can't be anywhere near your kids, and, because there's no opportunity for you to even get a job or get on your feet or anything like that. And then, to try and rebuild a life in a completely strange place where you don't know anybody except for, like, your one friend who helped you get there. And, then you move into an apartment and you're dealing with a dirty ass, crooked scam artist slumlord who won't even let you take a fucking shower in your own apartment. And, all these other things, not being able to find a job, and, all of it. There's a lot of stuff in the last year. It has been a fucking rough time. Since August 12th, 2022, life has been nothing but a nightmare. A non-stop fucking nightmare. And yeah, it gets better. I mean, so today, so it's been a year since I came home from prison. The anniversary was April 3rd, the same day that the landlord started threatening me. I still don't think that was a coincidence. The same exact day I was home in an apartment for the first time, and now I'm being threatened with all this stuff anyway. That's what set off. Like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. The second this motherfucker started threatening me and started, taking this shit to another... Like, it was one thing to not have hot water and to be dicking around with this guy for months about it. But the level this motherfucker is taking things to, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. For real. Like, I finally can't take it anymore. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. But your advice is fine. Keep dishing it out. I don't care. Like, there are things going on I'm not talking about right now. But this motherfucker was the straw that broke the camel's back. I've been through absolute fucking hell, day after day after day after day after day after day after day, with a few good days in between. Don't get me wrong, it's not all bad. But I've dealt with a lot of shit in the last year, and finally someone comes along, pokes the bear one too many fucking times, and now shit is... You'll hear the whole story down the road. Poke the bear one too many fucking times. It was the last straw. It was. Like, period. April 3rd. 1 year exactly to the day that I came home was the day I'm not going to take any more shit from anybody anymore. That was the last of it. Things are in the works. I'm just going to leave it at that. You can watch my videos. I mean, you can see a drastic change. April 3rd was a major, like, you can see it from April 3rd to today. I'm not the same person I was April 2nd. And it's not always, like, this is temporary. Somebody left me a comment today. Hang in there. This is just temporary. Yeah, it's temporary. And I'm fixated on the short term right now and how it's affecting me right now. And, getting into my own place and getting settled into a place to just, get my shit together. That was what this was supposed to be, not not the disaster that this train wreck has turned into. And so Oh, I had something I wanted to say in a direction, and then just sometimes my mind just can't stay on track right now. It's very, very difficult. Um, but yeah, part of it is you're watching videos that I recorded a number of days ago, and so like I'm sitting here in a frame of mind of having just done a bunch of things over the last few days, but you're not seeing me talk about those things because there's a delay between me right now and talking. It's Easter Sunday right now. You might not be watching it until next Sunday at this point. That's why I'm trying to say what day it is in the videos. I'm dropping the dates and I'm trying to say, like, this was recorded on such and such day, just to keep it like, here's what's going on, but you're not seeing it in real time. And there's two or three reasons why I'm doing it this way right now. Um, this is going to be an interesting week. Um, so there's the okay. So the year ago, April 3rd, I came home. So for the first up until about a week or two after I was homeless, I was keeping a journal, daily journal of pretty much everything that was going on day after day after day because things were really bad at the place I lived with my ex. I'm gonna talk about this for a minute. I don't like talking about this, but there's a point to it. I was keeping this journal day after day after day. I felt like I had to. I was super paranoid about, I didn't know what to do, but I didn't know what probation was going to be like. So I felt like I had to document everything just in case. And the situation at home was so toxic and volatile. I thought that this crazy bitch was going to do something to try and get me thrown back in prison. So I felt like I had to keep track of everything that was going on and document this so that in case she goes to do something to me, I at least can, I have it, I mean, just, I don't have proof, but I can document, well, this is what she did. This is what happened. This is what's going on this day. And it wasn't just her, it was everything that was going on. I put in there about how I went to church and I met these people and this and that. And so I was just taking, it was a journal, just my thoughts and what happened. But I stopped doing it a couple of weeks into being homeless because of time. I just didn't have time. The journal became YouTube. Instead of keeping it written in a notepad file, it became a YouTube channel. And so I'm just talking about what's going on. If I want to know what happened on such and such day, all I got to do is go to the YouTube channel and go to that day. And oh, no, that's what was going on. But for the first couple of months that I got out of prison, I have a day-by-day journal. And so today, it's Easter Sunday. And of course, like I said, I was feeling like shit today because it's a holiday. And, if you were sitting in my shoes, you wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to be awake today. You would just want to take a pill and go back to sleep and wake up tomorrow. And then I got to get through tomorrow and all the people. How was Easter? How was your Easter Sunday? Oh, everybody had a good weekend and everybody has a family and we're all happy. Yay, Easter. It's like, no, it's not. It's not sunshine and rainbows for everybody out there on the holidays. But, fuck it. I got to pretend like everything's great because, if I had a broken leg, everybody'd feel sorry for me. But a broken mind, you can go fuck yourself. We don't want anything to do with you. Get the fuck out of here. Get away from me, you freak. You're a leper. It's like being a leper in Jesus's day. If you got something wrong with your mind, nobody wants anything to fucking do with you. So keep it to yourself. Don't talk about it. So I got to get through a day of being asked, how was your Easter? Fucking sucked. Like, is that what I'm gonna say? No. Oh, it's fine. It was good. Just say it was good and talk about something else and just change the subject. I don't got any stories. I don't need to talk about it. If somebody asks me, it'll be like, it was good, move on. Talk about something else and just change the subject. Like, I'm not going to go in there and be like, it fucking sucked and here's why, and, get into that. No, that's not what you do at work. So, but I needed to, like, do that thing where you look back a year ago. Are you better off today than you were a year ago? Because I have to keep doing that to remind myself you're going through a patch, you're going through a rough month. A year ago, what were you doing? And I'm like, and I wasn't even thinking about this. I'm like, wait a minute, dude, you kept that journal. Like, I forgot about the journal. I'm like, I guarantee you, if you go back a year ago and look at that fucking journal, that's going to set you straight. And so I read the entry from April 20th and I was like, holy shit. And I remember it. I can't like remember verbatim what happened. One of the things, we got into a fight because she was angry that we didn't have ants in the apartment. Fuck, man. She was pissed off that there were no ants in the apartment. And I'm like, now you might be thinking, why the fuck would psycho bitch be mad because there's no ants in the apartment? Wouldn't it be the opposite? You'd be mad that there are ants in the apartment? Now here, I'll tell you why. Because before I came home from prison, she set up this apartment so that we could live together. And then came home and it was just no good. And, everything I do, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a, whatever. I'm a scumbag. But anyway, there was ants in this. It's a long story short. It was a concrete floor with some cracks in it. It was actually kind of cool. The floor, I was fine with it. I thought it was all right. And there's some pros and cons to that. But when she first moved into the place, there were some ant problems. And she would set out traps and this and that. And they, the ants would swarm on the traps like they're supposed to do. And then the ants would disappear. And then they wouldn't come back for a while, which means that the ants took the poison down to the queen. And, the ant colony died out. But then they come back. And so, I've dealt with ants in my house more than once. And so I was like, at some point, I said, why don't you get these traps that are called Taro, the brand? And I'm like, it's basically borax and sugar and water. That's like the standard way to get rid of ants. But Taro traps, it's borax, sugar, and water. It's just in a convenient little trap. I'm like, for me, they work the best. I've tried them all. Taro traps work the best. That's my opinion. I've tried the Raid ones. I've tried different ones you get at the grocery store. The Taro ones always worked the best. They work within a day or two. And so there were some ants crawling around this one day, and she went and got the Taro traps and set them into different spots. And for days, no ants. But we weren't seeing them anywhere. Like, there were just no ants. And so she throws this fucking tirade, this temper tantrum, screaming and yelling at me about how I'm a fucking asshole. I made her buy all these fucking traps that don't work. If they worked, there would be ants everywhere. And I'm like, well, maybe they fucking worked. Like, we're complaining. You're mad right now and throwing a fucking temper tantrum because there's no ants in the apartment. So, that's the level of I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. If there were ants in the apartment, it would be my fault for being a dirty piece of shit who didn't wash his dishes an hour after he made food. But now that there's no ants in the apartment, I'm a piece of shit who ordered the wrong ant traps. So it didn't matter. Like, I was getting bitched out every fucking day for, like, nothing. And so I had this journal of it. And that was just one example from exactly 1 year ago today. And I knew that if I went back and read this journal, I was going to get these details that I'm not trying to remember. And there were other details about other things. It wasn't just the apartment and the drama with that. There was other things in there to read. And there were things about there was something about my buddy down here in Houston who at the time was planning on driving up to get me and bring me to Houston because I had put in a request to move down here and it seemed like it was going to go through. But instead, the probation department decided it would be better to just let me be homeless for 6 months. And then somebody had to actually make them do it. Like it's gonna look bad on, like, they're probably going, this guy has a YouTube channel and he's putting us on blast, and Trump's gonna get back into power and find out that probation just let this guy be homeless when he had a home. And somebody's head's gonna fucking roll. And so, like, we gotta get this guy taken care of. Or so, I don't know. That may have been how it went down. Because they didn't want me to go. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, you can go. Sorry about that. Sorry we made you be homeless and kept you... Like, everybody who knew the whole story and what was going on were blown away that probation was allowing me to just float in the wind like that. Without giving... Like, it was almost like the government isn't done getting their fucking revenge against the guy who said mean things about them on Twitter. The government just wants to keep fucking me as many times as they can, and then finally they let me come down here in Houston and they've kind of just backed off, at least for now. We'll see what happens. There might be an element of that. I'm just speculating. I don't really know. But so anyway, there's a whole section in today's entry from a year ago. My friend was going to come and get me. I had spent the entire day a year ago today packing everything that I would fit in the back of his 4Runner, and everything else was just going to get left behind. A lot of the stuff that's in the tiny house here, I would have come down to Houston. He would have drove up to get me, thrown as much stuff as we can fit in the back of a Toyota 4Runner, and then hit the fucking road and never come back, and whatever was left behind is gone. And that was our plan. That was the fucking plan for up until when probation said you're not allowed to go to Houston, you get to be homeless instead. And so, and then somebody decided to do me a favor, a solid, come up with a moving van from Pittsburgh and threw all my shit in it and kept it stored for me as best as possible. Some of my camera gear and some important things to me that were like, that was a soul crushing blow to have my camera equipment destroyed the way it was, but I still haven't been able to assess the damage completely and figure out what can be salvaged and what's gone. It's like my mind isn't even there right now, but my photography is my passion, and that was really like, that's tough, but it's all things. Things can be replaced. If God wants me to go out and start taking pictures again, he'll fix that. He'll make it work. I can take really good pictures with very little camera equipment. And we'll just figure it out, make it work. But I had it was like, I don't even want to think about it right now. It's too painful. But anyway, a year ago, I was reading about that. I was reading about the fact that I was getting bitched at because there's no ants in the apartment. And there's a bunch of other things I can't even think of right now, and I'm not going to go back and read it just for the video's sake, but there was a whole bunch of stuff, and it put me right back in where I was mentally April 20th a year ago. And I'm like, yeah, you're way better off today. I'm way better off today. wait, I don't have ants in my apartment here, so, and I'm not getting bitched out for it. That's an improvement. I got a few. I've got some. I got some shit like this fucking situation with the water and the shower and the fucking. This whole thing is. The water and the shower situation was one thing, but when he decided to threaten me, I'm raising the rent at the end of the month, and if you don't like it, I'm throwing you out. I don't have fucking water, dude, and you're raising the rent? You out of your fucking mind. Like, and psh. So it's not like I'm not as worried about what he says he's going to do, but now in the back of my mind, every time I leave this place, every time I lock the door behind me, I'm wondering what's this crazy son of a bitch going to do next. Like, I don't feel comfortable leaving the place and just, even with the door locked. Like, he came in one day last week to fuck around with the water while they were doing this shit show, and he left the fucking door unlocked. He came into the apartment, he went through, he didn't go through my stuff, he just was fucking around with the water, turning it on and off and stuff with the worker or whatever. But when I came home from work, the door was unlocked. Just fucking left unlocked. In a different situation, that would have pissed me off even more, but there's a reason why I can leave my bicycles on the porch unlocked. People point that out all the time. They're like, you're going to get your bicycle stolen. I'm like, no. Believe me, if I thought I needed to keep my bicycles locked, I would. I could leave my bicycle unlocked at the bakery all day. Just leave it leaned up against a tree. I don't think anybody would touch it all day long. I lock it, and I take most of the attachments off, like my Bluetooth speakers and things that people could just easily pop off the bike and walk away with. But I leave stuff attached to the bike that I don't think people would think to take or want. And I don't, I lock the bike well, but I don't do, like, it would be much different if I went down into like, when I went to the fucking, GameStop, where the first question they were asking me on my job interview is, what do you think about armed robbery? You think you can handle that? Because that happens all the time down here. Like, holy shit. Yeah, no, I'm locking my bike up a lot more secure down there. Like, that's the job where I'm like, I was asking them, I'm like, well, if I ride my bike to work, I can leave it inside the store, right? Because I'm not leaving my bicycle locked up somewhere outside in this neighborhood. Fuck that. But where I work right now is the richest part of Houston. That's like a whole different story. I've never seen somebody walk around the parking lot where I work at the bakery with their pants pulled down to their knees and their asshole hanging out for everybody to see. But down here where I live, I went to the grocery store one day and there were like 3 dudes walking into the grocery store with their pants pulled down to their knees and their fucking asshole hanging out for everybody to look at. And I turned around, I'm like, fuck that, I'm not going grocery shopping here, ever. And I've never been back in there. I went and got a money order, turned around and got the fuck out of there. I'm not doing that. I'm not going somewhere like that. I saw enough of that dumbass shit in prison. I don't need to look at that now that I'm a free man. I'm not looking at some fucking hood rat with his fucking pants pulled down to his knees and his asshole hanging out for everybody to look at. I don't need to fucking look at that anymore. I'm turning around, I'm going the other way. Fuck that shit. If that's what HEB wants for a customer, then have at it. Because if I was the manager at the grocery store, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here unless you pull your fucking pants up. Nobody wants to see your fucking underwear, asshole. The only people who can get away with that are hot chicks. Come in wearing your underwear all day long. I won't say a word. But dudes who look like they just got out of prison, Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Nobody wants to look at that. So even though Easter sucks, and I'm just sick and tired of all this shit, just trying to just trying to figure out what I gotta get done before I go to bed here. But even though Easter sucked, and I hate the holidays right now, hate it, hate the fucking holidays. Fuck, every holiday since August 12th of 2022 has been a miserable experience. I don't want anything to fucking do with it. I just want to get through the day and wake up the next day. I'm never going to enjoy a holiday for the rest of my life. Ever. And, you know, it's just part of the fucking experience. But, you know, like I've been saying, I looked back a year ago so that I can set my head straight and say, you know, it's not that bad. You know, May 17th was the day I became homeless. I confirmed that today. I went, because I didn't just read today's entry in the journal from a year ago. I kind of skimmed around and I'm like, oh, I remember that shit. Oh, I remember that fucking thing. And it just like one after the next was just a reminder of how much it fucking sucked a year ago. And I'm like, you know, you really have done a lot in the span of a year. You have come a long way in the span of a year. This is a hard thing to fucking rebuild a life after this kind of catastrophe. You'd have an easier time rebuilding your life if your fucking mobile home was destroyed in the trailer park after a tornado ripped through. And your whole city was buried under 30 feet of water like New Orleans. You'd still have an easier time putting your life back together than what I went through. It was like I got the hurricane, the tornado, the flood, all of it at once. Took everything. And I've been fighting for a year and I'm tired of it. I'm just tired from it. Fight, fight, fight. Fight, fight, fight. Fight, fight, fight. You're finally just, you need a fucking break at some point. And yeah, I get a few days here and there. Like I came to Houston. I spent like 3 days watching Star Wars. But like somebody asked me in a comment today, is there what kind of recreation is there in Houston? I don't fucking know. It's not like number one, I don't got time to go do recreational shit right now. I get like a day here and there to do less work than I normally do, but I don't get a day off. Number two, I ain't got no money. Recreational stuff costs money. I don't got that. I don't got a car to get myself to the recreational stuff. So, fuck, man, they had a Christmas party at Dave & Buster's for my job, and I didn't go because I didn't want to ride my bicycle there. I would have had to ride my bicycle. It probably would have been a 15, 20-mile bike ride from where I was. My friend didn't want to drive me there, and I wasn't going to push the issue. I wasn't like, come on, man. You know, like, it was just like one of those, hey, would you mind? And they had something else going on, and I was like, all right, that's cool, man. I'm not worried about it. You know, I wasn't like, all I'm saying is I could have gone to Dave & Buster's for free, and I even have Dave & Buster's video game cards in a folder where I have the folder here. I probably had enough fucking credits on these Dave & Buster's cards to play video games all day without having to get a card from the company the company Christmas party. Like, I could have played games all day and probably not spent $1 the whole fucking time. I have an original Dave & Buster's gold card because they opened one up in Pittsburgh so long ago, and it's not like it. Back in the day, you had to go so many times in order to get gold status on your card, and then they gave you an actual gold card, not solid gold, but like the color gold. And then when you got your gold card, all the games were half off from then on. But it took me, it took about 10 years to get that gold card, because it's not like we went all the time. We went like once or twice a year, or like every company that you ever worked for that would do a company fun day or whatever, that was always one of the things. So like I was always going to Dave and Buster's for a work party, or every now and then we'd take the kid there, my daughter there, to have an afternoon of fun, or my son or whatever. But eventually I had this gold card, so it's like an antique now because they don't even you can still use it, but it doesn't work the way it used to. But I just carry it around because when I flash it, when I give it to one of the people that work at Dave and Buster's and they go to put credits on it, they look at it and they're like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." It's just a nostalgia thing. But I have a handful of Dave and Buster's cards in my desk drawer. And if I had gone to the company party, I could have probably scanned them all and found out I have credits on all of these cards. They never expire. So, but I didn't want to ride my bicycle and be all sweaty and shitty at the company Christmas party and look like dog shit. And so, like, no, there's no recreation. There's nothing. I don't have any fucking money to spend on shit like that. So I don't know. It's the fourth biggest city in the country. I'm sure there's plenty of fun things going on in Houston. That's not for poor people. That's for people with money. The weather's nice. I can go out and enjoy the sunshine and go on a fucking bike ride so I can go to my job. That's about it. There's no recreation. In my situation, there's no fucking I haven't done one fucking recreational thing since I've been here, and I've been here since September. I haven't done one fucking thing recreational. I didn't do anything in Jamestown either. Recreation in Jamestown was sitting on a park bench recording a YouTube video. I don't remember doing one fucking thing. I haven't done one thing since I got out of prison recreational. I cannot think of one single thing that I did that was recreation and fun since I've been home from prison. I've been home from prison now since April 2nd, 2022 is when I was released, or 2020, I'm sorry, April 2nd, 2024 was my release date. It is now April 20th, 2025. I literally cannot think of anything that I have done recreational since the day I got out of prison. Not one single fucking example. The closest I can come is when I got to Houston, I sat on my friend's couch for a few days watching Star Wars shows because they were out of town. I had the house to myself. We went to the grocery store the night I got there, so I'd be stocked up on food and snacks and whatnot and drinks. And they were gone for like 3 or 4 days, and I sat and watched Star Wars. Got all caught up on The Mandalorian, Andor, Ahsoka, all the shows that I had missed while I was in prison. I sat and watched. That was it. That was recreation. I cannot think of one fucking thing. Went to Chipotle a couple of times. I've been that like recreation was like a couple of trips to Chipotle to get a burrito and sitting and watching Star Wars, watch a movie here and there. Like, I am literally trying to think of one thing I did that was fun since the day I got out of prison. I literally cannot think of one thing. Not one. I got to camp for one night on my way to Houston from Pittsburgh. In Mississippi it was. I thought it was Louisiana. I think it was Mississippi, a little bit southeast of Memphis. I camped out for a night. That was for about, but honestly, I got there, I started a campfire, I sat in a chair. About an hour later, I was falling asleep in the chair. I went and laid down in a hammock and slept. Does that count as recreation? That was just a free place to sleep for the night. It was kind of fun. So since April 2nd of 2022, like, I'm literally sitting here. I'm an hour into this video segment. I truly cannot think of a single thing that I have done that would count as recreation. Every single bike ride I've taken was for transportation to a job. Every single walk that I go on is for something I have to do. Jamestown, recreation. I went on a couple of walks to check some I went on a couple of walks to check some things out. I don't know if it counts as recreation, though. It was kind of fun, but I was also gauging the distance to get to it. Like, I was going to look for a job somewhere, and I was kind of gauging how I would walk to the place from the homeless shelter and how far it would take and how long it would be. And it was along, like, this nature trail, so I was like, okay, maybe that counts as something fun. I walked along this nature trail all the way down to the end and back. And I was looking for places that I could set up a camp if I was homeless. But they had actually gone through there, the town, because they were on this big, like, anti-homeless kick, trying to kick all the homeless people out of the woods. And they had gone through this area along the nature trail and had rounded up all the homeless camps and removed them. Does that count as recreation? I don't know. Let me think. I had a buddy drive me around one day, taking me to a few different, like, parks and overlooks and stuff to check out the view, and just kind of, we were just out for a drive shooting the shit, and a little bit of, I guess you could call it sightseeing, but it was more just to get out and just do something for the day. I guess that's recreation. Like, I used to recreate all the fucking time. I used to get lots of recreation back in the day. Recreation's not even in my vocabulary anymore. Like, I literally can't think of anything that actually, like, falls into that category. I can't think of it. I ate at a restaurant once, like a sit down to eat restaurant once. One time since I've been out of prison, but I was doing a photo shoot there, so I was actually spending the whole night taking photos for a website, and I sat down and had a meal and hung out with some people at the end, and then I had to get back to the homeless shelter because they were gonna lock me out for the night if I didn't get back by a certain time. Does that count as recreation? I don't know. Trying to think. Took photos of solar eclipse, or I tried to. It didn't really come out that great. The weather was kind of shitty. It's the big deal solar eclipse. But the person I watched the solar eclipse with was a fucking asshole. So I don't know. Was that recreation? I don't know. Didn't go anywhere to watch it. Just out in the driveway. Been to church a few times. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of shit to do in Houston that's fun. I don't think I'm if this is the rest, if what I'm going through in the last year is the rest of my life, I don't know. Let me know. Because there's no recreation in my fucking world anymore. Anyway, I gotta get going. Peace.